I risked my life to save 3 children who fell into the water, just as I was about to accept the 300,000 reward. Chun Hao, a student from a poor family in my class, suddenly rushed out. He said his father had cancer and needed 300,000. He asked me to lend him the money to save his life. In my previous life, being hot-blooded and kind-hearted, I gave him the 300,000 that I hadn't even had time to warm up. Who knew this would be the beginning of my nightmare? From then on, he clung to me like a leech, sucking my blood. It was either his grandmother being sick, his mother being injured, or his younger sister not having tuition fees. He kept morally kidnapping me over and over again. He even forced me to take out online loans. In the end, I discovered he used my money to buy a house and various luxury goods. When I refused to give him any more money, he got angry and pushed me down the stairs. If it weren't for you, how would I have known that life with money is so good? Since you let me taste the sweetness, you cannot let me go back to that poor life I had before. Opening my eyes again, I am standing on the award stage in the school auditorium. The principal has just handed a 300,000 check into my hands. Below the stage are dense crowds of teachers and students. Camera flashes are going off constantly, just as I am about to open my mouth to say a few words of thanks. A figure suddenly rushes up from below the stage. It is Chun Hao, the poor student from our class. He rushes in front of me and kneels down with a thud. The entire auditorium instantly goes quiet. Everyone's eyes are focused on us. Ichen, please help me. My father has cancer. The doctor said it would take 300,000 for the surgery. This is life-saving money. I know this money means a lot to you, but I really have no other choice. My family has already sold everything we have. Please lend me the money. I will definitely pay you back later. I will write an IOU. I will work like a horse or an ox to repay you. As he speaks, he kowtows forcefully. His forehead quickly turns red. Looking at this familiar scene before me, my blood almost freezes instantly. In my previous life, it was right here, watching him tearfully pleading, that my heart softened. My blood went to my head, thinking that although 300,000 is important, human life is paramount. With almost no hesitation, I handed over that check, which still felt warm from the ink. Take the money to save your uncle first. There is no need to write an IOU. We can talk about it if there are difficulties later. At that time, thunderous applause erupted from the audience. Everyone was praising me for being kind and selfless. Chun Hao also thanked me profusely while crying, saying I was his family's savior. But I never expected that. That day was not the beginning of salvation, but the prologue to my nightmare. His father's cancer was real, but it didn't need 300,000 at all. Most of that money was misappropriated by him. At first, he would occasionally report his father's condition to me. Not long after, he started finding all sorts of excuses to ask for money. Ichin, my grandmother had a heart attack. I need hospitalization fees. Ichin, my mother broke her leg while working in the fields. The surgery fee is still a bit short. Ichin, my sister got into a key high school. The tuition is too expensive, and my family really can't afford it. Every time, he would speak with a sobbing tone, looking like he was at the end of his rope, telling me about his family's misfortunes. The people around me also started to chime in. Ichin, you are a hero now. You can afford this much money. Chun Hao is so pitiful. If you don't help him, who will? You were able to come up with 300,000 before. Why are you refusing to pay this little bit now? The shackles of morality were placed on me layer by layer. I became the person who had to keep giving. If I showed the slightest hesitation, I would be accused of being cold-blooded and selfish. To satisfy him, I started to live frugally. Later, the amount he wanted grew larger and larger. I really couldn't afford it anymore. He started urging me to take out online loans. Each in, just borrow a little bit first. Once my family situation eases up, I will pay it back immediately. The interest isn't high. It's just for a short turnover. Otherwise, my father will have to stop his medication again, pestered by him with no other choice, and suffocated by the gazes of those around me. I actually went and borrowed it. With compound interest, the debt snowballed larger and larger. Until one day, I accidentally saw Chunhao driving a brand new car, wearing designer clothes, coming out of a high-end residential complex. I finally woke up from my dream. I rushed up to confront him. At first, he still tried to quibble. After I exposed him, the humility and pitiful look on his face vanished without a trace in an instant. Replacing it was a kind of hideous greed and resentment. So what if I did? Jiang Yichen, if it weren't for you, how would I have known that life with money is so good? Since you let me taste the sweetness, you can't make me go back to that poor life I had before. You ruined me, do you know that? I was trembling with anger. I told him to pay me back, to fill the hole left by the online loans. The money is all spent. How can I pay it back? If you push me any further, we will all be finished together. During the struggle, he shoved me hard. I was standing on the edge of the building's rooftop at the time. I lost my balance and fell like a leaf. The moment the feeling of weightlessness hit, I saw him standing on the rooftop with no trace of guilt on his face, only a cold indifference as if he were relieved. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have known how good it is to have money. How could you make me poor again? Those words of his became the final memory at the end of my life. I looked down at Chunhao kneeling on the ground. He was still crying, still acting. The red mark on his forehead was just right. His voice was choked with sobs, every word filled with despair. Oh my God, how pitiful. Cancer is a terminal illness. 300,000 is just enough to save a life. This is such a coincidence. Yichen just received a bonus. You should help him, right? He definitely will. He's a hero who acted bravely for a just cause. Familiar words. Familiar atmosfera. Exactly the same as in my previous life. But this time, my heart is as cold as ice. Chunhao, get up first. Chunhao didn't seem to expect this reaction from me. His crying paused for a moment. Then he cried even harder. No, if you don't agree to me, I won't get up. Yichen, I beg you. Save my father. As he spoke, he tried to kowtow again. I stepped back, avoiding his movement. I told you to get up. Let's talk properly. The murmurs from the audience gradually died down. Everyone seemed to sense that something was wrong. Chunhao's expression was somewhat stiff, but he insisted on staying on his knees. Yichen, I know this request is excessive, but I really have no other choice. The money you earned is an honor bought with your life. But my father's life is also very important. In my previous life, I was moved by these words. thinking that no matter how important money is not as important as a human life. But now I realize my life, because of this money and because of him, was easily trampled upon. Chenhao, your father is sick. And I sympathize with that, but that is not a reason for you to rush here. Kneel in front of me and force me to give you the money. Chenhao's eyes widened suddenly. In disbelief. What do you mean? Yi-Chen doesn't intend to help him? What's going on? Isn't he a hero? That's a bit cold-blooded. After all, it's a human life. Student Yi-Chen, let's talk this over. First, let student Chenhao get up. Don't be like this. I ignored the principal and kept looking at Chenhao. Your father has cancer and needs 300,000 for surgery. In this situation, have you applied for financial aid from the school? I applied. But the school's aid is too little. It's not enough at all. Is that so? As far as I know, the school has a special relief fund for major illnesses. And you can apply for up to 100,000. Have you applied for it? I haven't had the time yet. Haven't had the time? Your father is so ill that he needs 300,000 for surgery. Yet you have time to run here and kneel to beg me, but no time to apply for the school's relief fund? Chenhao was speechless. The murmurs in the audience began to change tone. That's right. Doesn't the school have a relief fund? Why didn't he apply for it? Could it be that he just wants Yi-Chen's prize money directly? A flash of panic crossed Chenhao's face. That's not what I meant. I just thought it would be faster with student Yi-Chen. And 100,000 isn't enough anyway. If it's not enough, you can think of other ways, like seeking help from society or starting a crowdfunding campaign. The internet is so advanced now. Many people would be willing to help those who are truly in need. Or you could talk to the hospital to see if you can owe a portion of the payment first and pay it back later. There are many ways, but you chose the worst one. You rushed onto the award stage, knelt in front of me in front of all the teachers and students, and used your father's illness to force me to give you this reward for bravery. This isn't asking for help. You are using moral coercion. Everyone was stunned, including Chenhao. I know that's not it. I was just at my wit's end. I really had no other choice. Being at your wit's end is not a reason for you to kidnap others morally. Chenhao, do you understand what this money means to me? This is not just ordinary money. This was earned with my life. That day, 3 children fell into the lake. The lake water was freezing. The current was swift. When I jumped in, I didn't even think about whether I could get back up. I desperately pushed them to the shore one by one, while I almost drowned, tangled in water weeds. This money is a reward for my act of bravery. It is an affirmation of my sacrifice. It is not just 300,000. It is my honor. It is what I earned with my courage and a life I almost lost. Now you are using your father's illness to demand that I give you this money. Do you think this is fair? There was silence in the audience and some thoughtful gazes. I didn't mean that. Just what? Just thought that since I just got the money, it could be used for you. Just thought I should be more selfless, more kind. and give you the money. Chen Hao. Kindness is not without boundaries. My kindness is to save children who fall into the water, to help those who truly need help, and know how to be grateful, not to become a tool for your endless demands. Chen Hao's body jolted. He looked at me with eyes full of shock and confusion, as if he didn't recognize me anymore. In his impression, I had always been a gentle and even somewhat weak boy. In my previous life, I would only soften my heart when facing his pleas, but now I am calm and sharp. Every word piercing through his disguise like a knife. How can you say that? My father is really dying. Are you going to stand by and watch him die? Are you worthy of your title as a hero? I saved 3 children who fell into the water. I am worthy of the title of hero. But that doesn't mean I must save everyone. Must satisfy everyone's demands. I am a hero, not a saint, and certainly not your ATM. Chen Hao, if you really want to save your father, please seek help in the right way, instead of using such despicable means here to consume other people's kindness and honor. After saying that, I stopped looking at him and turned to face the teachers and students in the audience. Dear teachers, dear students, I know everyone sympathizes with Chen Hao's situation, and so do I. But sympathy does not mean one can be morally coerced. I have my own use for this bonus. I will donate a portion to the school's relief fund to help more people who, like Chen Hao's father, are in need of help. I will save the rest as my future tuition and living expenses, and as a memento of my act of bravery this time. I will not give it directly to Chen Hao. Not because I am cold-blooded, but because I don't want my kindness to be becoming a reason for others to take advantage. And I didn't want this money earned with courage to be misused. The auditorium was silent. A few seconds later, I don't know who started clapping first. Well said, Yi Chen is right. Why use moral kidnapping? The reward for a brave act should be decided by the person themselves. Chen Hao is too much to actually force someone like that. Chen Hao knelt on the ground. His face was as pale as paper. He looked at the contemptuous and accusatory gazes of the people around him. Looking at my firm gaze, he finally understood. This time his plan had failed. He stood up abruptly from the ground, glared at me, then rushed off the stage in a panic, and ran out of the auditorium. Watching his fleeing back, I felt no joy in my heart, only a sense of exhaustion after finding relief. The debts of the previous life. In this life, I can finally cut them off with my own hands. Yi Chen, you did the right thing. I nodded, clutching the check in my hand. My life, from this moment on, will be back in my own hands. After the awards ceremony ended, I became an even bigger focus of attention at school. Some said I was upright and unyielding, sticking to my principles. Others said I was heartless and refused to help those in need. But I don't care about these discussions anymore. In my previous life, I lived too tiredly, trying to meet the expectations of others. In this life, I only want to live for myself. I went to the bank immediately, and deposited the $300,000 reward. Then I withdrew $30,000 and donated it to the school's relief fund. I didn't make a big deal out of it. I just quietly completed the paperwork. I don't want to be kidnapped by any halo anymore. After doing all this, I felt physically light. When I returned to the classroom, the atmosphere was a bit subtle. The classmates looked at me with different expressions. Some were curious, some were admiring, and some were distant. Some were curious, some were admiring, and some were distant. Chun Hao didn't come to class. His seat was empty, like a silent irony. Yi-Chen, you were amazing. I was scared to death yesterday. I thought you were going to be soft-hearted again. I was too stupid before. Chun Hao is also too much. Even if there are difficulties at home, he shouldn't have done that. By the way, I heard from his roommate. His father is indeed sick, but it doesn't seem as serious as he said. And it doesn't need as much as $300,000. Let him be. Just take care of yourself. Lin Liang nodded and said nothing more. In the following days, Chun Hao did not appear. There were more and more rumors about him. Some said he was deliberately scamming money. Some said his father's illness was fake. Others said it was because he was rejected by me, dropped out of school in shame and anger. A week later, Chun Hao reappeared in the classroom. He had lost weight. His complexion was haggard. His eyes were bloodshot. It looked like he had stayed up for several nights in a row. As soon as he entered, the whole class's eyes were fixed on him. He kept his head down and walked quickly to his seat. He slumped over his desk and didn't move. He didn't change his posture for the entire class. The bell rang for the end of class. I got up, wanted to go out for some air. Chun Hao suddenly raised his head and called out to me, "Jiang Yi-Chen." Lucy. 两 zang yanjing liuri.